Before we start, I just want to make it clear that in this video, I will not be sharing how to save money on airfare, where to stay and eat to keep things cheap, how to infiltrate into tourist crowds to get a free walking tour. None of that. What I will tell you is how much everything is, from public transportation down to the souvenirs, to give you a better idea of how much a trip to Italy will cost you. So, let's start. If you're flying from outside of Europe, then your plane ticket to Italy will most certainly be the biggest expense of your trip. I flew to Italy from Texas last March. My ticket was $800, which is cheap in comparison to how expensive they can get if you do decide to fly between the months of May and September, their high season. A ticket then can cost you around $1,400. On the other hand, you can pay as low as $700 during the low seasons, November through February. With the exception of Christmas time, it gets more expensive then. Naturally, the closer you are to Europe, the cheaper it is. I've seen flights from New York for as low as $600 on the low season and just $1,000 on the high seasons. Also, keep in mind that this is from my own personal experience. I've been checking plane tickets and saving for the past 3 years before buying one. But sometimes airlines work in mysterious ways, and it's not rare or uncommon to find ridiculously low airfare amounts, like I did for my trip to Japan 2 years ago. Only $500. Accommodation prices go hand in hand with airfare costs. Expensive during the summer months and cheaper during the winter. I stayed in Italy for 2 weeks and visited 3 different cities. I'll give you the daily average of each city I visited. Also keep in mind that I visited during March, which is that sweet spot between the high and low season. If you're coming during the summer months, go ahead and add around 20 to 40 euros to these averages. Rome, 80 euros a night. Venice, 100 euros a night. Florence, 60 euros a night. Venice is the most expensive city if you're staying on the island. Some people save around 20 euros a day by staying off of the island and taking a 30-minute train ride to the island daily. That's not really my thing. On the other hand, Florence was surprisingly cheap. I made a 3-day stop there because it was in between Rome and Venice, and I fell in love with the small town vibes, the artistic culture all around, impressive views, museums. A refreshing stay in between the chaos awaiting in the other 2 cities. By the way, I stayed in Airbnbs for the most part. If you're unfamiliar what Airbnb is, it's essentially like apartment rentals. It's on par with the price of some hotels. However, you get smaller, much smaller space with no kitchen or separate rooms. I left the link in the description box below to find out more about Airbnb. It really is the ideal way of traveling when it comes to accommodation. So for a 3-city vacation in Italy, I spent about 80 euros a day when it comes to accommodation. But like most people traveling, I didn't do it alone. So cut that by 2 and it becomes 40 euros a day. Luckily for some, pizza is one of the cheapest foods you can find in Italy. Pizza al taglio, or by the cut, will cost you around 3 euros, and a full pizza will cost you around 9 euros, which is for 2 people. Not very nutritious, but it gets you through the day. Keep in mind that pizza prices can differ and get more expensive the closer to tourist landmarks you get. So, to help you with your daily budget, this is a breakdown of about what I spent in a day. Breakfast, 3 euros. Cappuccino, a pastry, cannolis. Lunch, 14 euros. Salad or prosciutto, and a pasta dish with meat. Snack, 2 euros. Gelato or cappuccino, Dinner, €5. A big slice of pizza or another fast food pasta dish. Yes, a lot of pasta, but there is a lot of walking. On average, my daily budget for food was €24. You'll probably Google what to do in Rome and make plans to go to the Colosseum. €12. The San Angelo Castle, €12. The Gallery Borghese, €15. And then you look at your budget and you try to cut costs elsewhere because tickets are expensive. Don't. Just get the 3-day Roma Pass. For €39, you get free admission into 2 historical landmarks or museums, you get discounts on the rest, and the best part is you don't have to wait in line. Yes, you get the skip the lines for any of these attractions. Also, you get free transportation via the bus or metro. There is a 2-day Roma Pass for only €10 cheaper if you do plan a shorter stay. Outside of Rome, the city passes just aren't quite as good, so I went ahead and purchased tickets individually. And there are many free landmarks to visit, like the Pantheon in Rome. If we paid to see 2 historical sites or museums a day, excluding the Roma Pass, we would spend about €22 a day on tickets. If we're talking about local transportation, a year and a half gets you from any point A to any point B one way. The bus and metro lines cover a lot of ground, so there's really no need to rent a car. If you like to move by taxi, it can get kind of expensive. In the city center 3 miles, it'll cost you around €11. A ride from the airport to the city of Rome, about 30 miles, will cost you a flat rate of €50. My average daily spending using only local transportation was €4.50. Now, if we're talking about getting from city to city, the average cost for a train ride, the cheapest seat, will cost you around €30. Fortunately for you, I made a separate video reviewing each of the different seat classes and what comes with each one. I put the link in the description, so go ahead and check it out. You'll have no problem finding souvenir stores. They're everywhere. As I know this expenditure is the most flexible, I'm going to be going off of my own personal experience. When I like to travel, I like to get a unique gift that represents the city that I visit. For example, I knew I wanted a mini Colosseum when I visited Rome. This was €30 in the official gift shop in the Colosseum. However, you can get the unofficial version and mini gift shops for around €15. Now, if you really want something cheaper, you can get the made in China version for €5. It's very common for sellers to offer the made in Italy version before offering the made in China version. Also, unless you're in one of the official gift shops, haggling is quite common. So if the cost is €20, try and offer €15. Sometimes they'll accept it and sometimes they'll counter offer with €18. Either way, you're saving money. And yes, leather is cheap. Not dirt cheap, but cheaper than it is here in America. The only downside is they look like Gucci and Prada knockoffs, and for some reason the designs are identical across all shops. Obviously, they're getting all of their products from the same factory. These leather bags range from €60 to €120 depending on the size, and for the most part they all say made in Italy. So, excluding airfare, it costed me €90 a day to visit and enjoy Italy very comfortably. Not that bad, right? That's it. Let me know what you liked and didn't like in the comments down below. I plan on making budget videos for every country that I visit, and my next trip is in a couple of months. Also, all likes and subscribes help this channel grow. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye.